Hey guys, welcome back to another flashlight review, and today we're going to be looking at the Wurkkos HD11, and this is an interesting flashlight because it's a combination flood plus throw flashlight, which are getting pretty popular these days, and I can see why. You get the best of both worlds, but often these lights do come with the expense of a bulkier design, but not with the HD01, as you can see, and the head of the light also rotates. Okay, so you can actually use it as a work light or a hands-free flashlight, which is pretty cool. So let's have a look at what you get in the box. So apart from the light itself, Wurkkos includes a 18650 cell here, a 3000 milliamp hour cell. It's a button top. This is the box that it comes in. And if you want, you can pause the video and read some of these specifications. Okay, but this is what's inside. Essentially, you've got some specifications there on the side of the box of the LED SFT40. Get your usual USB-C charging cable and also some spare O-rings and a lanyard. All right, so here's a side-by-side comparison with a few other flashlights that I own. And the Wuben L1 really came to mind here because it does have that rotating head as well. You can see there. But the L1 is just that little bit chunkier because it's a 21700 flashlight. And also you can see all the flood LED there is actually located on a separate part of the head. So you can only really have one activated in one direction, though you can have them both on at the same time. But as you can see here with the HD11, all the LEDs are just under one head. Got the Wurkkos FC13 here and my trusty Convoy S2 Plus. All right, so a little close-up of the HD11, and the machining is pretty good, especially for this price point. And I like that Wurkkos are now using this grippy anodizing in their newer flashlights. Especially when you don't have too much knurling on there, it really helps. And like I mentioned, the head, this rotating head is an excellent feature, and it does feel quite sturdy as well. It requires force to turn it. So look, you don't have to, it's not like unscrewing a can or something like that, but it does, it does require a bit of confidence. So it's not going to just, flip around or do anything funny in your pocket there. I like that there's a small tolerance between the head and the body. This is going to make it much better in terms of heat dissipation. I have found that some other flashlights that have this design, the heat just does not dissipate into the body very well, and that forces the light to step down quickly. The HD11 is operated by a single side switch that also doubles as a battery indicator. Turns on there. You got a pocket clip, stainless steel pocket clip, which is, decently rigid. It doesn't have a whole lot of spring in it, which I like. You've got a magnet in the tail, a strong magnet in the tail there as well, so it can hold itself up vertically as well as horizontally. And you've also got USB-C onboard charging. All right, so here's a little close-up under the head. And I like that Wurkkos have included the SFT40 in here, especially with such a small lens in there. That's really going to make a difference in terms of providing that extra long range performance. Around the edges, you can see there are these six, these yellow ones there. They're the CSP1919 LEDs. They're high CRI LEDs, and yeah, the white ones. And then you've got three CSP1313 LEDs, these yellow ones, which are basically red LEDs. It's quite amazing that Wurkkos have managed to fit all this in the head, considering how small the bezel is. It's almost the same size as the body. It's a little bit, it's like a tiny bit larger, like this inner ring design as well, this stainless steel inner ring. Something I found out recently about the HD11 as well is that it has linear regulated output on all channels, which is pretty good for a budget flashlight. All right, so let's go through the UI, and basically one click to turn on to the last modes. It's got that mode memory. Just press and hold to cycle between low, medium, high, and turbo. Okay, you can also double press, and this is better if I actually start it on moonlight so the camera can pick this up. All right, But you press and hold, and when you double press, you can actually, while the light is on, switch between the different LEDs. So that one now just has the center LED activated, got the floody LEDs activated without the center, and then double press, you've got the center and the floody LEDs activated at the same time. In order to activate the red LEDs, you need to press down 3 times. Okay, there we go. And what you can do as well is that you can press and hold while it's in that red mode to access this flashy red function there. That could be good for attracting attention. From off, if you press 4 times, you're able to lock that flashlight out, and another 4 clicks will activate the light. And like I was showing you before, press and hold from off to access moonlight. And the good thing is also you can activate turbo by double pressing from off. Okay, so I ran a bunch of ceiling bounce tests here with the Wurkkos HD11, and this was on the flood plus spot mode to really push things. And you can see here on turbo, you get basically under a minute of runtime on 100%. So I'd say about 45 seconds before it starts stepping down. And you can see it just goes to about 20 to 30% after the 5-minute mark. Ran a second ceiling bounce test here on high, and you can see here it holds that 100% mode for 2.5 minutes, which is pretty impressive before it steps down to 30%. Did notice in the start as well, it starts to step up again about the 5-minute mark, then it goes back down and it remains flat at 30%. Here's a third ceiling bounce test I ran just on the medium mode with flood plus spot, and it pretty much holds between 90 to 100% for the duration of the 30-minute test. So due to there being 4 different modes in this light, I found that it can take a bit of time to get used to the UI, swapping between the flood, the spot, flood plus spot. At least the red light is separated off with 3 clicks. I do find that the spot beam throws surprisingly far considering how small that TIR lens is. I also noticed that with the spot plus flood beam activated, that the spot beam was a little bit dimmer than if you had just the spot beam activated alone. So some other considerations to be aware of: the HD11 comes with this rubber button here, and I've always preferred metal for added durability, so that's something that you do want to keep in mind. Also, it is a little bit longer than other 18650 EDC lights, so comparing that to my Convoy S2 Plus, I mean, it's not a huge amount bigger, but necessary in order to fit this rotating head mechanism that does take up more space. The third consideration is that the red LED mode has all these odd kind of artifacts, but look, it's still usable. With the Wurkkos HD11, you certainly get a lot for what you pay for. I like that you can have multiple beam profiles all in one light, plus the ability to use this thing as a work light, hands-free light with that rotatable head and clip, plus the magnet on the rear. It makes it very versatile, easy to carry around as well because it's an 18650 flashlight. That red light mode is really just the cherry on top, not to mention regulated output at this price point is pretty rare. If you're interested in this light, go ahead and check the video description. I've got a special discount voucher there. If you have any questions as well, just let me know down below in the comments and I'll get back to you. If you enjoyed this video, do me a big favor and click the like button. Helps me to get it out to more people. And if you want to see more flashlight reviews and keep up to date with the latest news, make sure you subscribe. Wurkkos HD11, and this is just on the spot beam. Okay, 1, 2, 3, 4. So there's 4 steps. This is the highest step. Even on the lowest mode, it's still sort of reaching those shrubs in the front. Second step. So low mode, also doing pretty well, reaching the center. Medium, high. And what we can do is also switch over to some of these other modes. So this is the flood mode alone. Okay, 1, 2, 3, 4. Just behind the camera, I'll go for a walk to show you what it looks like in a moment. But you can have both of them on as well. So this is flood plus throw. This is the full 1800 lumens go for a walk so you can just see the beam profile a bit better. Okay, so again, this is the full flood plus throw mode activated at the same time. Okay, these are the 4 steps. That's the highest here. The shortcut to it from off, just double pressing as well. But once the light is on, all you do is just double press to switch off, switch between the different modes. So that's just the throw mode, flood mode, flood plus throw. And you'll see a difference here. When I switch now over, so it's now in the flood plus throw mode, but if I switch back to just the throw mode alone, it's a little bit, tiny bit brighter, the throw. So it's probably just having it to distribute that power over all the LEDs. But yeah, this is a great little combo flashlight, and surprisingly throwy for its size. I mean, considering how small that TIR reflector is, I just wouldn't expect it to throw this far. And really nice floodlight as well. This is the red mode, and as you can see, and it's probably difficult to see on camera, but there are some artifacts in the beam profile. It's okay for close-up use, maybe if you're reading a map, maybe if you're just doing some closer-up work, but yeah, it certainly doesn't throw very far, and it's not a super nice looking beam, but I'm just happy that there is a red mode on here at all.